That's good. This is from the cafe right across the street from where I'm at, and I went over there for breakfast to grab myself a cup of coffee. And it doesn't matter where you go in the world. There's always old men sitting around solving the world's problems. And I asked them today, I asked these old men sitting around the table today, are they making any progress on this whole pandemic situation? And they kind of looked at me and said, well, we're working on it. We're working on it. But, oh, goodness gracious. So it's what's today? Today is Friday. And I think the date is the 20th. And if it is the 20th, I've got a brother that's got a birthday. And this is one of the brothers that I don't talk to. Or I'll talk to him, but he doesn't talk to me. But anyway, it's on the outside chance that he's watching this video. Happy birthday to you from the land down under. And so, no shortage, just like any other day, no shortage of things on my mind today. And last night I was lying in bed, and as I often do, and which I probably shouldn't do, I was reading and watching the news before falling asleep. Some people put themselves to sleep watching Tom TV. Some people will use Tom TV to fall asleep. I read the news, but anyway, I was reading the news, and one of the articles, one of the stories, it was actually a video, an interview that was talking about how to deal with your 401k. How to deal with your 401k in these trying times. And I thought, this is interesting, because I haven't looked at my 401k. I really haven't. I haven't looked at the 401k at all. I don't even think I've looked at it in a month. It's just one of those things where you just don't want to know, And so I thought I would watch this video. It was a Fox News segment. I thought I'd watch this video on how to handle your 401k in a pandemic. And when they were talking about taking the money out, the guy was basically saying that, there's going to come a point in time where, as an investor, you want to buy, you want to jump in and buy when the market is rock bottom. But the trick is, knowing when it's hit bottom. And he said, as far as taking money out, a lot of people when their income is interrupted, such as this pandemic is doing, a lot of people, that's their life savings. That's their 401k is their retirement account, and they don't have but a choice to take money out of their 401ks, and that's an unfortunate reality. Is that the fact of the matter is that they say don't take money out of your 401k, your retirement account. But this situation with the pandemic is forcing a lot of people to do just that. Isn't this a nice backdrop? I mean, look at this. I've got the entire place to myself for 5,000 points a night. But anyway, unfortunately, a lot of people have to take their money out. People don't have a lot of liquidity. They don't have a lot of liquid cash, so to speak. And I went to sleep. I'm a little bit reluctant to talk about money, because I know that it can be a real tough subject for a lot of people, and it can get, talking about money can get more thumbs down than talking about Skip Smith. But anyways, I went to bed last night after listening to that story. My head was on the pillow. I found myself feeling grateful for the fact that money is not one of my challenges right now. Right now is the key word, right now. Right now, money is not a challenge for me. It's a challenge for a lot of people, and for those people that money is a challenge for, boy, my heart goes out to you. I've been there. I know what it's like, to count the pennies in your pocket to see if you have enough to buy yourself some ramen for dinner or something like that. I know what it's like to not have money. And as I laid there in bed last night, I found myself thinking about my dad. And my dad was such a wise, in addition to him being a beautiful man and a wonderful man, my dad was a very smart man. And he used to instill his wisdom in us kids in a very subtle but effective way. He would have these things and he would just be repetitive with them. And one of the sayings was, "Hi, Rusty." One of the sayings that my dad used to have is, he'd say, "Tommy, it's not how much money you make that's important. It's how much money you save. That's what's important. Not how much money you make, but how much money you save. That's what's really important." And the other thing that he used to always talk about was the importance of building a cushion. Building a cushion under yourself, your savings. He used to always talk about that. He used to always talk about, how's your cushion? You got a cushion, are you building a cushion? And, it's sometimes building a cushion is easier said than done. Especially if you have a family and you've got responsibilities and you've got unexpected expenses and just all that type of stuff. But I went to bed last night and I got to tell you that in at least that is concerned, I found myself feeling really, really grateful, that's not part of my challenge right now. Not that it couldn't be, but it's not at the moment. But regarding the whole situation, I called Michelle last night, and I asked her if she minded if we canceled the weekend. And I did so out of, I think it's just better to err on the side of caution. And Michelle has a roommate who's Chinese, and he's from New Zealand. He's a New Zealand citizen, but he's of Chinese origin. And he was there when I first arrived. He's a doctor, and he was there when I first arrived. But he went traveling with his girlfriend to, of all places, Asia. So he's been off to Asia, and he just came home 2 days ago. He got into the country before they shut the border down. He was a child of the Great Depression, as a matter of fact. But anyway, so he is he's self-quarantined himself. Michelle said that he came into the house. He was wearing gloves and a mask. He got what he needed from her house, and he disinfected everything that he could have possibly touched or anything, and then he left. And anyway, and I didn't know that he had come back or anything like that. That wasn't really part of the equation as far as thinking to cancel the weekend with Michelle. But I did. I canceled the weekend with Michelle, and I hope that our paths will cross again one day, and we will see, as the saying goes. But right now I'm just weighing all my options. I really am. I mean, this is a what a situation to be in. You remember months ago when I was just standing in my kitchen in my morning bathrobe, doing my morning videos, talking about all these great places that I was going to go and things I was going to see. And remember when I was in Hawaii at the airport, and I didn't know that I needed to apply for a visa to get into Australia and all that kind of stuff, and I got it approved right at the last minute and everything. So who would have thought? Who would have thought that at this point in time I'd be in a little town called Bendigo? I love how that rolls off the tongue. Who would have thought that I'd be in a little town called Bendigo, Australia, a gold mining town, 2 hours north of Melbourne. I'm getting it down, Melbourne. But anyway, so what's the plan? What's the plan? I haven't read the news yet, to be quite honest with you. I don't know that she was upset or disappointed. Maybe she was, but she was also understanding. And I told her, I said, Michelle, I said, you can get on a plane anytime. I said, it's just a 2-hour flight for you. If you want to go to the Great Ocean Road, you can go to the Great Ocean Road anytime. It's just a 2-hour flight, and what have you. But anyway, so I'm just at this point in time, I'm just weighing all my options. It's a romantic idea to say that I'm gonna go to Perth and just ride this and ride this pandemic out. I'm gonna go to Perth and I'm gonna wake up and have my morning walks on the beach, and I'm gonna do all this kind of stuff. But I mean, I've got to be serious about the situation. And I'm not concerned about getting into the United States. Getting into the United States is not a concern of mine. Getting to the United States, that's a bit of a concern. So, I'm looking at my options right now. As far as my visa goes, I've got 90 days on the visa, so to speak. I was told by immigration that after 6 months, they might really look at you and say, what are you doing here? But anyway, I got 90 days. I could apply for an extension. Whether or not I get that extension or not, I don't know. I really don't know. But yeah, it's not as much. I mean, anyway, so I could be on a plane theoretically. I could be on a plane to the United States as early as probably this evening or tomorrow or something like that. I could be on a plane to the United States. I'm going to stop. I'm on my way to Melbourne today, and I'm going to stop at the airport. I'm going to stop at the airport because getting people on the phone with the airlines is impossible. And from what I've seen, the airports are deserted. And there should be ticket counters at the airport, So it's one of those situations where you think you think work smarter, not harder, so to speak. And so I'm going to stop at the airport, and I want to get a feel, from the United Airlines representatives and what have you, as far as if and when, are they just going to shut all flights? I mean, what happens? And my brother called and said that there was a State Department message about urging, citizens to get home, and if they don't, get home, then, there's not going to be a lot of support for them or something like that. I don't know. I've yet to read the news. But I'll tell you what, I'll tell you what my plan is. My tentative and short-term plan. I don't know the long-term plan at this point in time, but I know what my short-term plan is. I'm driving down to Melbourne today, and I booked a beautiful hotel in Carlo, Carlo, the land of Oz. So Carlo lives in a suburb east of Melbourne, east of the city center. He lives in a small suburb east of there. And he told me that, he sent me a link to a beautiful brand new hotel. I mean, it's just a spectacular, gorgeous hotel. And he sent me a link to that, and I looked it up on my points, and it's like 5,000 points a night, and it's a gorgeous hotel. So I'm driving down to it's East Melbourne, Malvern. If you look it up on a map, East Melbourne, Malvern. So I'm driving down there tonight, and coincidentally, Rob, who's another gentleman. So I got to tell you, I've got some support here. To what extent I've got support, that remains to be seen. But Carlo's a good man. I've known Carlo now a couple years, and I've had long conversations with him. And so Carlo is he's a good man with a good heart. And so I'm going to be staying probably within walking distance of his house. I'm not going to impose on him and his family as far as staying with them, but I've got the I booked 2 nights, Friday and Saturday night, with Carlo, or down the street from Carlo at this hotel, and Rob is in that area, and Rob's an interesting guy. Rob is maybe he's watching this video. Rob is always good to leave a comment on the videos, and he sends me emails. He'll send me emails. He'll send me emails for different messages. Like he'll send me his phone number, and he says, "Yeah, if you need anything, here's my number. Here's et cetera, et cetera, et cetera." And Rob is a good Christian man. Well, Rob's a Christian man. As far as when it comes to Christian men, once you're a Christian, there's no such thing as a good Christian man or a bad Christian man or whatever. If you're a Christian, you're a Christian. I mean, that's in my opinion. Some people may say otherwise, but yes, bless Carlo and bless Rob. But so I booked 2 nights. I booked 2 nights in East Melbourne, and you know what? I swore to myself years ago, that I would see that Great Ocean Road again. Come hell or come high water, I will do that Great Ocean Road, and I will drive down that Great Ocean Road, and I will be listening to Van Morrison all the while, and John Denver, and that's what I'm going to do. So Sunday morning, I'm going to wake up bright and early. I'm going to wake up Sunday morning bright and early. I'm a planner. I always plan things. That's what when I've traveled before with women, that's what they appreciate. This one lady that I dated, she said, "You know what I like about you?" She said, "If we're going to go somewhere, all I need to worry about is what to put in my suitcase. That's it. You plan everything. You just have everything planned out." And so anyway, I'm going to do the Great Ocean Road on Sunday morning. I'm going to do the Great Ocean Road. I'm going to saunter my way up the Great Ocean Road. And at the end of the Great Ocean Road, there's a town called Warrnambool. Carlo, everybody's talking about you. There's a town called Warrnambool or Warrnambool or something like that. And it's at the far end of the Great Ocean Road, probably about 3 hours. I don't know if it's 3 hours, maybe 3 hours from 2 hours from Melbourne. But I was in getting coffee this morning. I was getting coffee this morning, and I was telling this woman about my situation. She was kind of consoling me, saying, "Oh, you're safe here. You're safe here. We'll take care of you. This is the Bendigo's a good town." And I said, "Well," I said, "I'm going to go do the Great Ocean Road, and I'm thinking about maybe staying in Warrnambool." And anyway, um, she said, "Well, you should go just a little bit further. Go a little bit further and stay in Point Ferry." And I said, "Point Ferry?" She said, "It's a lovely town." So those of you out there on Google, Mike or Mark or whoever, Google that. Google Point, P-O-I-N-T, Ferry, F-A-I-R-Y, Point Ferry. Doesn't that sound like a charming little town? I looked at it on some of the pictures. And so Sunday, I'm going to find my way out there to Point Ferry. And that's where I'm going to rent a cottage or something like that. And we will see, as the saying goes. We will see. I mean, my intention is to get out to, do the Great Ocean Road and get back to Melbourne and try to make heads or tails as far as, what I'm going to do and fly home and whatever. But, I'll tell you that if I get out to a nice little place, I thought about staying in Albury. I really did. I thought about renting a little cottage somewhere in Albury. But if I get out there to Point Ferry and I see a nice little cottage on somebody's property somewhere, away from it all, I may just as well stay put. I don't know. We will see. So anyway, I just throw ideas out. Oftentimes I just take these ideas and I just throw them out there. But anyway, and I'll tell you something else. So people that minimize this whole thing, people that minimize the coronavirus and if you get it, it's going to be like a cold and it's going to be whatever. I every now and then I read these stories about people that aren't older people that come down with the virus, and I read stories about people that are in their 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever it is, and they get it, and not only do they get it, but it hits hard and it hits fast. It could be an overnight thing where you just wake up, God forbid. It could be one of these things where the symptoms aren't that obvious, and then all of a sudden you wake up and life as you know it stops. You're struggling to breathe, and and everything. So anyway, so that is, you take nothing for granted, and you can console yourself and try to give yourself some peace of mind by looking at statistics and odds and all that type of stuff. But you can hope for the best, but you got to prepare for the worst. That's always the case, and that kind of goes back to the saving for a rainy day. As the saying goes, saving for a rainy day for a few reasons. That's why I titled this video, "It's pouring rain on a sunny day." There's not a cloud in the sky right now. You can see. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful out in Bendigo. And but you know what? It's pouring rain. Today is that rainy day, save your money for a rainy day. Well, it's pouring rain, folks. It's pouring rain right now. Today is that rainy day. It's unlike anything that any of us I'm sure there's the older generation that have gone through World War II and the atrocities of World War II. But this is something that is just, it's unbelievable. And, you know, I find myself, hoping and praying that there's not some other type of catastrophe that comes along our way, like some type of, you know, war that breaks out or something like that. And not only do we find ourselves fighting a pandemic, but we find ourselves in the middle of some type of global, you know, global conflict or something like that. And then the other thing is, you know, you look at when you think about going back to America, okay, there's a reason people are out buying ammunition like there's no tomorrow. I mean, there's a reason that gun sales have gone through the roof. There's a reason that people are stockpiling ammunition. You think it's because they're going to want to go out and start hunting deer to feed their family? No. It's not because they're going to want to go out and start hunting deer or turkey or rabbit or squirrel or any of those other critters that walk around the forest. No, people aren't going out to get their ammo and all that kind of stuff because they think they're going to need to you know, go back to the days of Daniel Boone and Davy Crockett. No, people are getting ammo. People are getting ammo because of the. I'm just getting a battery warning that my battery's almost out. People are getting ammo because of the potential of civilian unrest. That's why people are getting ammo. And when I think about coming back to the United States, yeah, when I think about coming back to the United States, when I think about coming back to the United States, I think about that. I think about, you know, do I want to come back to a society that's on the edge of calamity? Well, it is calamity. It's not on the edge. We've been pushed over the edge of calamity. But is that a word, calamity? Somebody let me know. Would that work in Scrabble if I were playing Scrabble and I put calamity on? CALMITY, calamity. Oh, goodness gracious. But anyway, so I got to get going. It's time to get down to the land of Oz, the land of Carlo, and the land of Rob. You know, Rob and Carlo. And boy, I got to tell you that I would have been really, really disappointed to have come all this way to Australia and not been able to actually meet Rob or meet Carlo. And I'm going to have to figure out, I don't know how Carlo and I, because Carlo's a really affectionate guy. He's going to want to hug me and kiss me and, you know, give me a bear hug and pick me up off the ground and all that kind of stuff. That's the kind of guy Carlo is. But we're going to have to figure that out. We're going to have to figure out our greeting. Maybe we'll do it like the Chinese do in the villages now. Instead of the handshake or the fist bump or anything like that. Maybe Carlo and I were going to have to like touch toes or something. We'll tap toes together. That's what we'll do. We'll meet in the lobby of the hotel and we'll kind of reach our feet out to one another and tap toes. So maybe we'll both be wearing our sandals and we can actually touch toes. No, that, as Skip Smith would say, that would be gay. Yeah, that would be gay. Anyway, not that there's anything wrong with that, mind you. So, all right, everybody. I have to go. I hope everybody has a great day. My battery is just about dead. I'm right at 29 minutes. You notice that I take these shows for 29 minutes? Isn't that something where I can carry a dialogue? where I can carry a babble for 30 minutes? That really is saying something, I guess. Oh, goodness gracious. All right. And all these videos, these morning talk videos, they get 3 times. You know, that poor guy that I did that video yesterday, what was his name? Campbell at the confectioner caper or whatever that is. I mean, that guy, poor guy gets about, oh, there's somebody coming in. That guy gets, his video gets 100 views or something. And these morning thought videos that I do, they get 3 times that. So I don't get it. But anyway, how did he do with my haircut? Did he do okay? Did he get the back? Yeah, touching you, touching me. Sweet Caroline. That's right. Sweet Caroline, touching you, touching me. There we go. Carlo, that's gay. All right? Not that there's anything wrong with that. All right. So who is this? Pevy Put Guy Adventures. Everybody out there, don't subscribe to this Pevy Put Guy Adventures guy. He is he don't even go to his channel. This Pevy Put guy, don't even go to his channel. He's just kind of spamming mine. So anyway, have a great day, everyone. As my dad would say, I love you all. All right, take care.